Welcome to my studying, fellow fans of the written word. Here we are with some more chapters from The Great Hunt. Right at the start, one rhetorical question. Isn't someone who is a wisdom or was trained to be a wisdom supposed to be wise? I agree. I'm not saying that it's her fault that she got hurt or that Padan escaped, but wisdom, it's in the name. What else? Well, I did not think that we have moved past Rand's prophetic nightmares, so hello, nightmare, our old friend. The peddler escaped, which was, again, something that was set up, and I knew that it was going to happen even in the last book, because the last book ended without any kind of resolution for him. All we knew from the last book that he was thrown in the dungeon and that was it. He was not tried, he did not receive any kind of update until now. I have another question. So, Red Aja are extremists. And okay, but there is such extremists. Do any of the readers, other than me, just paint them as outright evil? Is it a line between doing what's necessary and just being nuts? Because we only get a limited perspective right now. There's a single red sister in the keep, and her impression, the impression she gives to the reader is, whoa. The Red Aja have a lot more in common with the White Cloaks than anyone else in the book so far. That's not a good distinction to make. One thing that unintentionally made me laugh, and this was not Robert Jordan's fault, because I think this book came out way before Garrett Marenghi's Dark Place, but at some point there is a prophecy that is transcribed from the walls after the Trolloc attack. And to paraphrase, it goes something about who is the daughter of the night, this whole prophecy, but there's this line that goes, blood. I couldn't help but go, and bits of sick.
Something was pouring from his mouth. He examined his sleeve. Blood? Blood. Crimson, copper-smelling blood. His blood. 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 And bits of sick.
It was just too goofy. We also get a geography lesson by Brown Aja. How nice of her. We learn about something known as Isle of the Dead, sea folk that reside there, how little is it known about them. And the other thing that amused me was apparently Brown Aja are the super scholarly sect, if you can call them, a faction between in the midst of the Aes Sedai, and the Brown Aes Sedai we get to know tends to just go off. And the first time it's played straight because they're holding an investigation and she's just listing on and on and on and on. And the chief Aes Sedai just snaps at her and goes, enough is enough. And then the brown Aes Sedai starts to answer another question. And I about started rolling my eyes because it was textbook, as you know, and she just goes off. But the chief Aes Sedai is having none of it and just cuts her off. Of course I know. I am very knowledgeable on the subject, thank you. So that was very amusing and I got a chuckle of it. It was a very self-aware moment from Robert Jordan. Also random moment, random thought. Does anyone else want Perrin as a protagonist? But then again I realize if we put Perrin or anyone else in the shoes of Rand, with all these revelations that he's having, they would probably be distressed and or annoying in different ways, just not in the Rand way, because Rand is Rand. But Rand is being super mopey. But then again, he finds out a lot of things, like such as, spoiler alert, he is the actual Dragon Reborn. He is not, surprise, his father's son. He was a baby found la-di-da. That was to be expected. One other moment of self-awareness, because this started as a very self-aware book, I must say, and it gets double points for this. I think Moraine she gives this parable saying that Rand, I cannot teach you in the ways of channeling the one power because a bird cannot teach a fish how to fly, neither the fish can teach the bird how to swim. And the other Aes Sedai distractingly goes, I always had problem with this saying because, there are kinds of fish that actually can sprout wings and can fly. And I swear, when Moraine was starting her monologue about you cannot teach a fish how to fly, I had the exact same response in my head, and then this other character voiced this opinion out loud, and I just about fell off my chair. But I have one concern about Rand, not about his character development, so to say, even though it has to do everything has to do with his character development. I am concerned that it is just too much too quickly. He is too special too quickly. The scope of his specialness in the cosmic sense is starting to be a bit too much, because he's not only Dragon Reborn, he is also Tal'Viren, who are also extra super rare. So he's special, super special. And I'm not saying that Robert Jordan is doing that trite bad YA thing of a teenager being chosen, but being chosen just because they're chosen, they're extra super duper special. No. I am aware that on a cosmic scale and with the spin of the wheel, it all serves a purpose. Keep is breached and the horn is stolen, but what's even more important character-wise is the dagger that's binded to Matt was stolen as well, and unless they return it, Matt will die because the connection has not been severed yet. And I'm hoping this is a chance for any kind of Matt's character development, even though if he becomes more insufferable, just any kind of development, really. I also hope we get to see some of parents' development. I did see accidentally that one of the chapters was titled Wolf Brother. I assume that's related to what he is, so maybe it will be something to do with him. I also enjoyed a small character moment between Nynaeve and Lan gifting her this ring. That was touching. Honestly, I really don't care about the romance angle between Rand and Egwene, even though, there was this prophecy in the first book that, they love each other, but it's just not meant to be. I really don't care. I am kind of struggling to care about Egwene as a character now because she's not doing much. I hope we get her POV once they are separated, because Rand and the others have went on this great hunt to hunt and retrieve the horn and whoever has stolen the Matt's dagger, because I'm not getting much from her. Also, we learn a bit more about the dynamics between sisterhood, between the Aes Sedai, which is something I'm very interested in. I'm interested in finding out about other Aes Sedai, how they get along or don't get along. What is it that happens inside their walls? One more thing. The reason why I'm also hoping for Matt's character development here is because we finally see, not that I wanted it, but we finally see some conflict. Not even conflict, but there is this divide that happened between the boys, between Rand, Matt, and Perrin. And I'm hoping that this time Matt kind of takes the initiative to make things right. Because as much as an idiot he is sharp. Not as sharp as Perrin, but I hope Matt is the one to kind of fix the situation. Quote unquote fix, because it is Rand's fault. He is trying to protect them, but yeah, I'm not buying it. He is just being too stubborn and too stupid to interact with his friends like a human being. Now, as soon as this whole setting up the quest section ends, the real action begins, and I'm feeling the hype returning, because there was an assassination attempt which was clearly meant for him, but Emerlin was the perceived target of it. And I really, really enjoyed the chapter with Bail Doman, the captain, the same captain that transported the Gleeman, Tom, and the boys. He is kind of finds himself in the midst of this conspiracy, in the midst of a setup. He accepts money for transport and a letter which appears to be a very incriminating letter for him and his crew. So that was cool. I hope we see more of him. I also hope to find out what happened to the fate that got, well, nailed on the door. Because clearly, I don't know who it was. Maybe it was one of the dreadlords. I don't know how powerful dreadlords are. We also find out that even though fates are not men exactly, they are undead, Robert Jordan does not shy away from some of the less savory details. They do not only kill, they also have fun. And their idea of fun is not fun. There is also an interesting dynamic in their travels, because they now have a group of people. We have Ingtar, who is sort of a leader of the hunt. I like him as a character a lot. He's this hard ass, but he is very competent. He is not openly hostile towards Rand, unlike some other people. Also, we get some descriptions about the Aiel men, and I wish to know more about them because they sound badass. They sound like these warrior people who are proficient with everything, even unarmed, but they are do not use the sword, which is also an interesting detail. But what's more interesting for me is description of their sort of nation as a whole. They have these clans, and they are a warlike society, but if they choose to unite, the impression I get, they would just steamroll everyone else. And of course, the inevitable comparison to Rand's looks, like he looks like a spitting image of the Aielman, which we keep hearing on and on. So, what happened to the Fade? What was the odd repetition that happened to Rand when he entered one of the houses in the village that was abandoned, and the village which has the Fade that was killed? What was that? That was really a neat piece of writing, very effective. The repetition here was very effective. It was very chilling. The tension was built up, and I think the tension is still there because they are spending the night not far away from there. So I hope Robert Jordan keeps that tension. Hope he doesn't escalate it too quickly, because the things are moving right now. I don't want Michael Bay explosions just yet. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.